Bird gang. Bird gang. Did the football guy just throw us a bone or what? Are we on the verge of making the most important hire in Cardinals history? It damn sure looks like it, right? Welcome back to Cardinals Daily. I'm Eddie and I got you when it comes to Cardinals news, talking more. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the video. If you're already part of the squad, I appreciate you for riding with us since day one. We're currently at 565 Bird Game members. If you're new here, smash the sub button, be 566. It really helps out the channel, and the more we grow, the better content we can bring you guys every single day. Again, huge shout out, Underdog Fantasy, Bird Game. Let's get right to it. If we, the Arizona Cardinals, are serious about changing who we are, not just next year, but for the next decade, there's one move that needs to be made, one hire that stands above all the others. We need to go all in. We need to swing as hard as possible, swing right for the fences. We need to do whatever it takes to get John Harbaugh to the Valley. This isn't about hiring the next, the next coach. This isn't about finding the right coach, right? We've spent too many years settling, guys. We settle for whoever wants to be here. We settle for guys that we think are Sean McVay-ish, guys that we think are John Harbaugh-ish. We kind of just settle for just hopeful. We hope it works out. We hope it works out. I mean, BA was one of the few that was like, oh, that guy's good, right? John Harbaugh is not a gamble in my mind. John Harbaugh is the guy we need. We don't have a talent problem, folks. We have a trust problem. Let's start right there. We have talent, all right? We've had talent for years, right? Say whatever you want about Kyler Murray. The kid's talented, right? Kyler Murray, to Buda Baker, to Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson, now Walter Nolan III, Will Johnson, Mac Wilson Sr. What we don't have is belief in anything here, in the organization whatsoever, right? Players don't believe a standard is real. Fans don't believe leadership knows where this is going. Thus, all the stuff being thrown Michael Bivens' way at the moment. And the league doesn't believe Arizona series. That is why we need John. John Harbaugh isn't just a successful coach. He's infrastructure. As head coach of the Baltimore Ravens since 2008, he's won a Super Bowl. He's made the playoffs consistently. He's survived multiple roster overhauls. He's won with different quarterbacks. He's had MVP winning quarterback, two MVPs for Lamar Jackson. He's found a way to make an offense work with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and all those guys. Say whatever you want about the results. That was a really good offense. He just ran into unlucky circumstances, right? That's the way I see it. He's adapted through multiple NFL eras. That's important because the game doesn't stop; it evolves constantly. The Cardinals, we don't just need another scheme. We need credibility. The moment John Harbaugh walks into the building, everything will change. The locker room will change. The expectation will change. League's perception absolutely is going to change. And suddenly, we're no longer a stepping stone. We are an absolute destination for everybody. We just fired Jonathan Gannon after 3 seasons of stagnation. Before that, we tried upside. We've tried offense first. We've tried defensive culture. None of it stuck. Why? Because we never hired a coach with proven authority. Right? John Harbaugh doesn't need to grow into the role. He doesn't need to learn how to run a building. He doesn't need patience from ownership. He set standard on day one. That's what this franchise hasn't had in so long since BA. We're at a crossroads where we have the top 3 draft pick. We have a massive quarterback decision that I'll talk about here in a moment. We have a fan base that's absolutely burned out and tired of the ownership at this point. And we have an owner whose credibility is trashed right now. Is destroyed. And he's looking to restore it, of course. This is exactly the kind of moment where you overcorrect. You don't hire potential. You don't hire familiarity. You don't hire comfort. You hire someone who has already done the job and done it well for over a decade. John Harbaugh gives us that. He gives us that accountability that we're looking for, the adaptability that we're looking for, and most importantly, time. Time to get the quarterback decision right. Time to build without panic. And time to stop chasing the damn optics. Here's another underrated part of this argument. John Harbaugh is quarterback agnostic. What does that mean? He's won games with Joe Flacco. He's won games with Lamar Jackson, backup quarterbacks in playoff runs, multiple offensive systems. That is huge for us. Whether we keep Kyler Murray, we draft a quarterback, we trade for a bridge option, we keep Jacoby Brissett, Harbaugh can handle all of it. You're not locking yourself into one philosophical lane. You're hiring someone who will adjust the system to personnel, not personnel to the system. That flexibility is incredibly valuable. And yes, absolutely would be expensive. That's the whole point. Let's address the elephant in the room. Hiring John Harbaugh is going to cost money, and lots of it. but more importantly, control. He's going to want to have some control. Monty's going to have to suck it up a little bit. Organizational humility. We're going to have to eat some humble pie, people. And that's exactly what we need to do it. Great franchises pay for certainty. Bad franchises bargain hunt, which we've been doing for a long time. And it's bit us in the ass multiple times. If Bidwell wants to send a message, not just to the players, not to just to the league, not just to the sports media, but to the fan base and the ticket holders, this is the message. Not a press release, not a slogan, not another "we believe in the process" crap. A high quality, like no BS hire. If we hire John Harbaugh, which you absolutely need to do, that narrative is going to flip overnight. Free agents are going to listen. They're going to take our calls and be, "Oh, John Harbaugh, hey, let's talk." Assistants are going to want to come here. Who doesn't want to learn under John Harbaugh, a guy like that, right? Players will stop rolling their eyes. It tells everybody we're done experimenting. We're done messing around. We're sick of being a rebuild. It's time to begin a legitimate program in Arizona. There's a risk to not doing it because if we hire another mid-tier coordinator, if they ask fans for more patience, if we screw up the quarterback decision again, we risk becoming and staying irrelevant because we're already not relevant. Let's be real, right? Being a bad team is not as bad as being irrelevant, okay? In the NFL, it's the worst place to be. John Harbaugh was not going to fix everything overnight. He won't. That's just the reality of it. But he's going to fix who we are. And right now, that's the biggest problem of all. If we want to stop being the league's cautionary tale and the butt of all the jokes, and we want to start being taken seriously in this league, there is no bolder move and safer move, really, than going all in on John Harbaugh. Remember, sometimes the smartest gamble is the one that removes doubt entirely. And on that note, look, I want John Harbaugh, plain and simple. But we got to talk to other guys, right? And the team's moving fast in our own head coaching search. But the NFL calendar is absolutely affecting us in this. I'll explain why. Because after firing Jonathan, Arizona wasted no time requesting interviews. The problem is many of the top names we want to talk to are currently in playoff teams that are busy getting ready for the playoffs. And the NFL has very strict rules about when those interviews can actually happen. Unlike college football, where coaches can bolt before the postseason even starts. Lane. The NFL prioritizes competitive integrity. And so they're going to want, teams focused on winning the Super Bowl, not lining up the next job. So we're going to have to get a little creative here. So who have we reached out to so far? We've requested interviews with 5 current NFL assistants, all coordinators and senior staffers. A couple of these I like, a couple of these I really don't. Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak. I really like that one. San Francisco 49ers defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh. I like that one as well. Miami Dolphins defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver, is a little iffy. Denver Broncos defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph. I was okay with him on yesterday's show when I was talking about it, and I looked into the stats and how he did here compared to how he did it in Denver. I don't think he could handle an entire organization, but that's just me. But they're going to talk to him, of course. New England Patriots passing in coordinator, Thomas Brown. Yeah, man. Drake May being an MVP candidate, absolutely, might have that get that guy a head coaching job. There's also a strategic wrinkle here. Hiring Saleh or Kubiak would directly impact division rivals, which is huge. Anytime you can get a really good coordinator from any of the teams in our own division, the Rams, the Seahawks, or the Niners, it's kind of kicking them in the nuts a little bit. So we don't mind doing that. Anyway, so who can be interviewed and when? Because Broncos and Seahawks both earn first-round buys, we actually have a short window to talk to Kubiak and Joseph this week. The Dolphins, meanwhile, not in the playoffs. We can talk to Anthony Weaver whenever we want to. As for everybody else, in-person interviews cannot begin until January 19th. Until then, all meetings must be done virtually. And we're going to have to work within that. Luckily for us, John Harbaugh doesn't have a job right now, so we can talk to him whenever, right? Oh, and then, of course, Matt Nagy, who I don't want anywhere near this team. Look, Matt Nagy, when you're Matt Nagy, you can make Patrick Mahomes look pedestrian. You're not good. Get out of here. Like, you're hiding under Andy Reid's stash. Stop it. So let's get a quick snapshot of these guys. Clint Kubiak, just 38 years old, in his first season running Seattle's offense, his system blends West Coast principles with influences from Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. And he also carries a respected NFL lineage as the son of former head coach Gary Kubiak. And anytime you can make Sam Darnold look like a world beater, you're doing something right. Robert Saleh brings head coaching experience. He led the Jets from 21-24. He has a Super Bowl ring from Super Bowl. Forgot which one it was, but either way, he has a Super Bowl ring, not from the Jets, of course, and has deep ties to elite defensive coaching trees. Anthony Weaver, one of the league's fastest rising defensive minds, a former second-round pick and longtime NFL lineman. He's now running Miami's defense after holding multiple assistant roles across the league. Vance Joseph, man, everyone's like Vance Joseph. Look at this Denver defense, right? They're ranked top 3 annually. They're really good this year too, and he knows Arizona pretty well from his previous stint as our own DC under Cliff Kingsbury. But again, I just don't feel like he could control the entire organization. I think it'd be difficult for him personally, but I might be wrong. Thomas Brown, offensive coach with head coaching experience, having served as interim head coach of the Bears last season. He also has a Super Bowl ring from his time with the Rams. If you look at the big picture here, we're casting this wide, deliberate net, but we're doing it on the NFL schedule, not our own. So it's a compressed window. Yes, virtual interviews for now, in-person meetings later after January 19th. And with division rivals, playoff timing, and a franchise reset all in play, how we navigate this might be like the reason we hire whoever we hire. So hopefully we do a good job and get it together, guys, because we need to be able to get the right guy in place with his system. And then we got to answer a bunch of other questions, right? The only question you have to answer right now is, why aren't you playing Underdog Fantasy already? Football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get on all the gridiron action. Playing Underdog is super easy. Just pick your favorite players. Are they going to go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more? Get them right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your money. With the playoffs just days away and plenty of marquee matchups coming up, man, it's on your wheelhouse. It's on your wheelhouse to win big, right? With your entries on Underdog Fantasy, we got games like Texans Steelers, Rams Panthers, Packers Bears. I mean, look, plenty of action to look at for Underdog Fantasy. Will C.J. Stroud be able to bring back some of that magic against a tough Steelers squad? Does Aaron Rodgers have one last playoff run in his bag against a nasty Texans defense? Does Matt's MVP Stafford add to his legacy against the Panthers, or will Bryce Young announce that he's finally here when it matters the most? And of course, the reigning champs, the Eagles. Can they do it one more time while kicking it off against a super tough Niners team? Plenty of questions. Play with the answers, baby. What are you waiting for? Download the app today. Use promo code FootballFan, all one word, to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code FootballFan, all one word. Underdog. Make picks, win money. And I got to tell y'all, for my big pick this week, because I do have a pick on Underdog for sure. It's a big one, but it's a hard one. I had to kind of swallow your pride here, okay? Because for my pick this week, I went with the quarterback of one of the best teams in the NFL, arguably the best team in the NFC West. That would be the LA Rams and my guy, MVP Matt Stafford. All right, don't miss me with the Drake May stuff, who I really wanted to see as a Cardinal when he left Detroit, but you know how that went, and it is what it is. You can't beat the LA weather, guys. Stafford gets a second crack at those pesky Carolina Panthers in the first round of the playoffs, and this game likely swings on his arm, right? He enters the postseason playing some of the best football of his career. Like, he's played some really smart football, not in terms of stats, but in terms of up here, right? He's healthy, he's decisive, and he's operating an offense that finally looks fully synced, especially down the stretch. Man, these Rams are nasty. They have momentum. They got confidence. They have an offense that knows exactly who they are, and that's the biggest problem we have in Arizona, is not knowing who the hell we are. Now, contrast that with Carolina's defense. They're young, aggressive, and opportunistic, but they are inconsistent. They make mistakes. They've shown flashes of disruption for sure, especially with pressure packages and athletic linebackers, but they struggle against veteran quarterbacks who diagnose coverage quickly and punish mistakes. And Matt Stafford, he's one of the best and most experienced playoff quarterbacks in the league. He's seen every single coverage. He's been blitzed from every angle, and when he's protected, even moderately, ruthless. What Stafford does best is pre-snap recognition, and against young defenses, that is a killer thing to be able to do. He doesn't need to wait for plays to develop. He identifies mismatches early and during a play. If you've seen him move, his eyes dart and everything, he sees a mismatch that just develops, he finds it. Manipulates safeties with his eyes, and he gets the ball out before pressure can arrive. Against this Panthers defense, that likes to disguise looks and rotate late and all that experience is going to be incredibly valuable for the Rams. And for the Panthers, the blueprint is simple and very difficult. They have to generate pressure without blitzing heavily. Bottom line. If they send extra rushes against Stafford, he's going to carve them up left and right. So, this game to me comes down to third downs and red zone execution, and Stafford is good at both. In the red zone, he's patient. He doesn't force throws. He'll take what the defense gives him, and he lets receivers win one-on-one. He throws the ball to his one-on-one guys, giving them a chance. Kyler, learn from this guy, please. Carolina, meanwhile, has struggled finishing drives defensively, and he's often holding up between the 20s, but breaking one space tightens. They don't do well when the field gets short, which is funny because it's usually the other way around. All right, on third down, Stafford's command of protections becomes incredibly critical. And if the Rams' offensive line communicates well and plays solid, those Carolina looks lose their teeth for sure. So, and that's the danger for the Panthers. You can't have committed against a guy like Stafford. If your disguise isn't perfect, he's going to find the weak spots. He does it every single time. You even give him a little bit of, you even give him some time to get comfortable, right? Stafford's been here. He's won big games. He's felt the pressure and delivered right through it. And Carolina's defense, while talented, incredibly untested at this level. So we're going to find out a lot about the Panthers this weekend, and we're going to see if Matt Stafford can still do it. So if the Panthers want to pull off this upset, their defense must play a damn near perfect game, and they need pressure without blitzing. Discipline on the back end, right? And clean tackling in space. That is a tall order, because if you give Matt Stafford, man, if you let him get comfortable early, if he's allowed to find rhythm, this matchup is going to tilt heavily in their favor by halftime. I'm talking about a blowout here. So in the playoffs, that experience absolutely matters. So as right now, this edge belongs squarely to Matt Stafford. So give me the higher on passing yards, so more than 265.5, but lower on completions, 22.5. The defense is very, very tough, but I think Matt's going to lean on that experience earlier this season. If you remember, he missed some big plays, so if he's going to collect on some of that for sure, right? So I'm going higher than 37.5 as the longest completion. He'll find some big plays, of course. And Stafford doesn't do much rushing, right? Averages negative yards in that part of the game, but I'm expecting a big game from Stafford regardless, especially throwing. So I'm going to go higher than that 271.5 total yards. But ultimately, that secondary will give him some problems, right? So give me lower on completion percentage, under 69.5%. I think it's going to be a solid game. From what I've been saying, the last 3 minutes, you guys know damn well the Rams probably win this game, right? And MVP, Matty MVP, he gonna get it for him, all right? Download the app today and use promo code FootballFan, all one word, to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code FootballFan. Underdog. Make picks, win money, enjoy the playoffs, because we ain't in it. So you got to find a way to enjoy the playoffs, right? But we have a question we need to answer here. A very, very, very unpopular thing to talk about. And this is not going to be popular by any means. Some of you are going to roll your eyes at me, but it's becoming increasingly clear that it's not off the table for this team, this next head coach, to inherit Kyler Murray as starting quarterback. And the reason isn't football. Well, at least not football first. It's money, right? Michael Vick was staring at a financial reality that makes a clean break way more complicated than fans want it to be. Murray's owed $36.8 million in guaranteed money in 2026. Not an easy contract to trade or swallow via release, and without serious cap consequences anyway, right? Now, we just fired Johnny. Paying a former head coach and a former franchise quarterback to work elsewhere at the same time, it's not happening. Like, Bill's not going to allow that. So at least he's going to try really hard not to allow that. Any owner would try not to allow that. Jesus, you're paying money for nothing. Especially one who's already absorbed years of dead money and failed resets. Still paying Cliff Kingsbury, and I think still paying Steve Wilkes, right? I want to say. But either way, the Gannon decision becomes revealing here. Around the league, there's growing belief that firing Gannon was the more palatable financial move. Gannon is likely to land a prominent defensive coordinator job quickly, or at least get on somebody's staff pretty quick. So that's going to offset a significant portion of his buyout. Now, Murray's contract, that money's locked in. We can't do nothing about that one. So while no one has outright said that was a Gannon and Murray decision, it kind of looks like it was, right? Okay. From a pure business standpoint, keeping Murray another year buys us time. It avoids the immediate cap hit. It keeps optionality open, and it allows a new head coach to evaluate Murray firsthand rather than inherit a forced reset, because we don't have to decide Murray's fate today. That comes in March. That deadline's going to come in March. We need to figure that out for sure. But once these 2026 guarantees loom closer in March, they're going to have to decide, does Murray give the next coach something valuable? And I think he does. I think he gives them a baseline. Okay. Here's the key part. This doesn't mean Gannon was fired to save Murray. Not at all. Right? League sources have indicated that the coaching staff was cautiously optimistic Gannon might survive, even after a brutal 1-14 finish. But as one industry voice put it bluntly, quote, the product was so bad, they are so far behind the rest of the NFC West, end quote. That's the headline, right? Not the record alone, not the injuries, not the bad luck, just the gap between us and everybody else in our division. When ownership looked at the NFC West, they didn't see a team close to competing. They saw a franchise drifting further and further away. And that you can keep Gannon after that. So what this means going forward, look, this doesn't guarantee that Kyler Murray's future, that doesn't guarantee his future in Arizona, right? It doesn't rule out drafting a quarterback. It doesn't promise anything, really. What it does mean is the next head coach may very well start with Murray, not because he's the unquestioned answer, not because he's forced to have him, but because financially and structurally, it's the cleanest path forward right now, right? We bought ourselves time by firing Gannon. So what we do with that time at quarterback in the draft and with the next coach is going to determine whether this was a smart pause or just another delay. keep in mind, guys, like getting rid of Gannon, it doesn't solve all the problems, okay? But I do think that keeping Murray might be the smart move, not just financially, but again, it buys us time. Do you any of you believe that any of these rookie quarterbacks are going to be worth a first round pick or a second round pick on top of that? Now, in second round pick, I do have Ty Simpson there, right? And I think maybe in the third round, I like that kid from second round. I also like the kid from LSU if he comes out, and the kid from Clemson in the maybe third, fourth round, right? He can move a little bit, but there's no clear cut quarterback, like franchise saving quarterback. Fernando Mendoza, as much as I love watching that dude, and he's so good, right? Along with Dante Moore, they're not guaranteed to save anything. And there's no free agents really that you could be like, we sign that guy, we're gonna have a future, right? So what I'd like to see, hire John Harbaugh, keep Kyler Murray, let him play the next season, okay, and then figure out the quarterback thing while drafting a lineman in the first round and maybe in the second round if possible. Right, a lot of people, there's some talk about Jeremiah Levitt running back and all that kind of stuff, and I'll break that down here in future shows. But in terms of what I want to see with this team is hire John Harbaugh, keep Kyler Murray, play and draft Maigoa or Fano. Trust me, John Harbaugh could find a way to make Kyler work, right? Not to the level that we want him to, but just enough to be competitive for the next season, maybe even the one after, to finish up his contract. And then it doesn't cost us anything, or maybe just a lot less. It might even be easier to move him. Imagine he has a really good season next year, and someone calls a trade for him, and we're already looking at a rookie quarterback next season. Why not? So a lot of questions to answer here when it comes to this Cardinals team. A lot of things we need to figure out, and a lot of breaking news that is coming up. So folks, all right, if you want breaking news immediately, I'm going to start doing beginning today and tomorrow, just today, beginning today, right? Any breaking news that happens, I will be going live on these channels here on Twitter or X and Instagram at Cardinals Daily 1. Make sure you follow me on there, and you'll see me go live. When things break down, we'll go live, have 10, 15-minute discussion, go after it, and then of course come back here, Cardinals Daily on YouTube, and we will talk about it in depth. But with a lot of exciting things coming up, do not forget to follow on there. All right, and let's have some fun together here throughout this offseason process, trying to figure out what's the future of this team. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Cardinals Daily. I'm Eddie Law. Don't forget to hit that sub, hit the bell, hit the like, leave a comment. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the video. Bird Gang, I rock with y'all till the wheels fall off. It's exciting times. Everybody start spamming the Cardinals account to go get John Harbaugh. Why not? Let's go. Let's get after it, folks. Go Cardinals.